I am now convinced that World War III and the use of nuclear weapons is inevitable. I posted a video on this platform emphasizing that the United States is planning to use nuclear weapons on China and Russia. I posted a video on this platform arguing that the United States is, let me say, aware that China and specifically Russia has a strong nuclear capability than the whole of NATO. I attached a statement from Grigory Waves admitting that Russia had a strong nuclear power than NATO. And in that statement, Grigory Waves was trying to convince NATO, was trying to guide and, let me say, advise NATO countries to modernize their nuclear weapons in order to confront a possible attack from Russia and China. Today, I am convinced that the use of these nuclear weapons is nearer, and the world is nearer to World War III than ever. Why am I saying this? As I speak today, Russia is in a fierce war with Ukraine. And in the same spectrum, NATO countries led by the United States, United Kingdom, and the rest are supporting Ukraine in this war. That means that this war is not a war between two countries, that is Russia and Ukraine. It is a war between, let me say, 30 something, let me say 35 countries. Because NATO members are 31. When we add Ukraine, that is 32. We add Russia, that is 33. I add Iran, that is 34. And I add North Korea, that is 35. That is the principal countries and their allies. The same today, Israel is at war with Hamas. Israelis woke up to a surprise drone attack from Hamas, and in retaliation, the Israelis declared war on Hamas. By the time of making this video, more than 700 people had died from both sides. And I also read an article, I also saw a report saying that 700 Israelis have died and 400 Hamas have died. That brings it to around 1,100 casualties. The war between Israel and Hamas is going to plunge the world into a global conflict. Countries with interests in Israel and countries with interests in Hamas are likely to declare war on others. For example, if Russia sides with Hamas, then it means that Russia will likely declare war on Israel. If the United States sides with Israel, then the United States will likely declare war on Hamas. And this will happen to all allies of these two individuals fighting. When allies declare war on these principal fighters, then we would comfortably say that the world is at war. And by then, the beginning of World War III will be realistic. As I have always opined on this platform, the survival of the world, the success of the world needs peace. We need to live as brothers and sisters, and we need to embrace each other. Sorry for that. Just a minute. We need to live in peace, and we need to embrace one another as brother and sister. We should not fight over simple issues. I know most of these fights are as a result of resource competition. When we look at Ukraine, it is a matter of interests. Sorry for that. Let me just switch my phone off just to avoid the disturbance, so that we can continue with our discussion. Now, as I was saying, the world needs peace, and we must always embrace one another as brother and sister. Warring is not the only option to finding solutions to our problems. The problem between Israel and Hamas can not only be solved through war. War should always be the last option. War should always be used as a last resort. Before engaging in war, before engaging one another militarily, there is need to discuss and solve issues amicably without fighting. The same I emphasized on the case of Ukraine and Russia. Currently, NATO and the European Union are abandoning Ukraine. They are telling Ukraine that you are on your own. I consider this a time when the Ukrainian leader should extend his hands to the Russian President Putin and solve these issues amicably, peacefully. I said this from the start, that the Russia-Ukraine war is based on interests. And I also said that the Russia-Ukraine war can only be solved when these two leaders engage. It cannot be solved by US supporting Ukraine, supplying Ukraine with weapons. It cannot be solved by the United Kingdom supplying Ukraine with weapons. It cannot be solved by NATO supplying Ukraine with weapons. It can only be solved when the Russian president engages the Ukrainian president on a peace deal, ceasefire. Remember, Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, and Putin, the Russian president, are the only two people who have the solution to the problem facing the two countries. The United States has no solution to the problem in Russia or Ukraine. NATO has no solution to the problem in Russia or Ukraine. Zelensky and Putin are the two most important people who understand what they are fighting for, who understand what they are fighting over. That means that they are the only two people who can only find the solution to their problems. The world is at war, and the solution is through peace.